Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins,
I'm Paul Hankins.
and you're on the air with Power Squared. If you were watching earlier, we had a little bit of a technicality problem.
Yeah,
So,
technical issue.
yes. So, hoping you can hear us. We're here to talk about Metallica. The group had their first concert of their world tour in Amsterdam last night. We thought it'd be a good time then to talk about them because you're a big fan of Metallica.
Yes,
Right.
they're my favorite band, actually.
Okay. And you were going to go through and tell us, kind of tier their studio albums for us.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about how did you get interested in Metallica?
Well, I first got into them through Guitar Hero Metallica.
Okay.
I was really into Guitar Hero at the time. And I had heard of Metallica, so I was looking for a way to get into them, so I saw this as a excuse.
Okay. And so was there any particular song or songs that sort of drew you in?
Well, apart from the whole thing, there was obviously stuff like Enter Sandman, but which is probably their most well-known song. But two particular songs that I really liked were Master of Puppets and One.
Mm-hmm.
And those are actually two of my favorite Metallica songs.
They do Enter Sandman as like an encore at some point, right?
Yeah, they usually close their sets with Sandman.
Okay, so one of the things that's...
And actually, yeah, it's part of the M72 tour.
Yeah.
It's a no repeat weekend, which means you only hear Sandman once.
I wonder what their closing song is going to be.
Yeah, probably.
I'm guessing the second night, maybe the first night will be something else.
Yeah. They released the set list that they did the first night.
All right.
Sandman wasn't on there, so I had the feeling it's the second night.
What did they close with?
They closed with Master of Puppets.
Oh, that's a really good song too. That's long too as well.
Yeah. Turns out our technical issue was user error.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Not our end.
Okay. So, all right. So,
Anyway.
Okay. So you got into them through a video game.
Yes.
And what was the first album of theirs that you purchased?
The first one I got was the Black Album.
Okay.
Well, it's just called Metallica, but it's colloquially referred to as
The Black Album. Is that because the cover's black?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I guess there's the logo and a snake in the corner.
All right. Okay, so the Black
But
Album.
it's solid black, so the Black Album.
Okay. And so you now have gotten all their albums from the beginning to now.
Yeah.
And so do you have
And I've also looked into their other material, like their I've also gotten into their side stuff, like their EPs and the other projects like SNM and SNM2, and we also saw movies.
right? Yes.
They did. Like Some Kind of Monster was the documentary of making Saint Anger, and Through the Never,
Right.
which was a unique combination of concert film and story.
Right. And the concert, I mean, I remember the stage setup. I thought when we saw the movie, it was going to look like that stage. That was really cool. It did.
That was a very unique stage.
Yes. And then the story was sort of, it kind of left you, didn't really resolve
Yeah.
the way it should have. But otherwise, it was a great concert.
I'm purely from exposure and without seeing Pulp Fiction, I got the impression they were going for something like Pulp Fiction at the end. Like, my understanding is in Pulp Fiction, you never see what's in the briefcase because that's not important.
Right.
And they were trying to do the same thing with Through the Never, but it didn't really earn that.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you're copying something
Yeah.
and you really should. Yeah, it didn't work
Yeah.
for them. Okay, well, little criticism of the movie there has nothing to do with their music per se.
No.
It's just the story. Okay, so which of those movies is your favorite?
That's difficult.
Okay.
I mean, the cop out is they're all different in their own way. But I don't really have a favorite of their movies.
We also saw them in the theater when there was the Big Four.
Yeah, we saw the Big Four live in the theater.
Was it Budapest or someplace?
No, it was Sofia, Bulgaria.
Okay, sorry.
They later did it again in Coachella, but I didn't go to that.
Okay. But that was, I remember that.
And in the theater, I saw S&M too.
All right.
And that was cool.
Was that live as well?
I forget.
Okay. And when we saw them, was that really live, or was that sort of a tape delay kind of thing?
When we saw the Big Four live, that was live.
Oh wow. Okay. Pretty cool.
They also played extra material while between bands.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was edited in to make it look like something more, but that was a really good concert too.
Yeah.
I remember the thing with he held up the pick at the end.
Yeah.
Which we have somewhere, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I didn't bring everything out, but I have a Big Four box set that includes Big Four.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about their music. So if somebody doesn't know who they are, their music is
thrash metal.
Thrash metal.
Yeah.
And that's what differentiates thrash metal from other types of metal.
I forgot the difference. But Metallica were one of the pioneers of thrash metal.
Okay.
Yes, a little bit of a history lesson. They started off with both an appearance on Metal Massacre. This is the first one. Obviously, it's a reprint.
Right.
This has the original version of Hit the Lights with Ron McGovney, which is a rare recording.
Okay, who's he?
The original bassist.
Okay. They've been through a few.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also the No Life Till Leather demo. This is a Record Store Day copy. Anyway, they had Dave Mustaine in the band originally as the guitarist, and he got kicked out for reasons.
Right.
I don't want to go into Metallica drama, but he got kicked out, and he went on to form Megadeth, so
right.
we got something good out of that.
Now, they touched on this in a Jimmy Kimmel sketch.
Yeah.
That they got together through the Recycler.
Yeah, Lars Ulrich put out an ad in the Recycler because he was looking for band members, and James Hetfield answered the ad, and they needed more members.
Right.
So they got Ron McGovney and Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine got replaced with Kirk Hammett, who was in the band Exodus at the time, and they got Cliff Burton after Cliff Burton sadly passed in an accident. They got Jason Newsted. Jason Newsted eventually left during the recording of Some Kind of Monster, and he got replaced with Robert Trujillo, who was previously with Ozzy.
Okay. Now, isn't there a producer on this movie played bass a little?
Yeah, Bob Rock was their session bassist, so he was not an official member.
Right. No, but I thought that was a really cool name for a producer.
Yeah.
Bob Rock.
Yeah.
So it's good, and they get Robert Trujillo during this making of this movie.
Yeah.
Don't they? Yeah. And so, do you think the new lineup is I wish it's not new, but I mean, is that the best lineup of the group?
Uh,
Having not really seen them live with anybody else?
Well, their best lineup was with Cliff Burton because he was just that good of a bassist. But Robert Trujillo, that's the closest they can get to recreating that.
Okay.
And they actually got Trujillo because his style and sound was very similar to Cliff.
Why did he leave Ozzy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. As much as I know about Metallica, I don't know.
I was just curious if you knew. Yeah. I ask questions, you don't have to have the answers.
Right.
So, okay, let's talk about their recordings.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start with how do you want to do this? You want to just go through them all, or do you want to start with the best?
Well, let's just go in order.
Okay.
It's easier. So first we have Kill 'Em All. I also have if there was a remaster, I own it too.
Okay.
So here's Kill 'Em All. This is where it starts. It has a kind of rough sound. It has a raw sound, I should say, and it was one interesting thing was the track Anesthesia, which was Cliff Burton managed to convince them to commit like 3.5 minutes of, you could say, precious vinyl to bass solo. So that was showed off just how impressive he is. That was the start of that. Warning, I might be a little rambly with the.
Is Dave Mustaine on any of these albums?
Or
was he gone before they recorded?
He was gone before they started recording this, but for I think on the first couple, Dave Mustaine still wrote songs, so they credited him.
Okay, all right, just curious.
So anyway,
so Kirk Hammett's been there sort of since the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since they're official.
No. He's the one member at Comic-Con we've met him twice, so I feel like, if I know somebody, it's him. We're like this.
So anyway, Kill 'Em All, raw sound, but it's a classic sound. It has some. I don't like every track necessarily, or not all of them stayed with me, but it's still really good. So if I were to put it on a tier list, I would probably give it.
Sorry.
Are you right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'd probably give it an A. That's kind of, if I'm going to be honest, that's bumped up because of how good Cliff Burton is.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, it would be like a B+ or something.
Okay.
That's not bad.
No.
Great. So then we have Ride the Lightning, which is an improvement in just about every way, I think.
Okay.
This has a couple of my favorite tracks off of here are Fight Fire with Fire and For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Okay.
Escape is not that memorable because it was our first attempt to get radio play and it backfired.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Nothing. So Call of Cthulhu, or that's how it's spelled. The Call of Cthulhu is also really good, and also it's an instrumental and shows off Cliff's ability again.
Okay.
This will also be an A. Because again, it's a more refined sound, but it's still like classic lineup.
All right.
Then we have Master of Puppets. I'll just get it out of the way and say it's an S tier. It's my favorite Metallica album.
Yeah.
Pretty much just about every song is good. Master of Puppets is again one of my favorite songs. Orion is the instrumental that really shows off Cliff's talent.
Okay.
And the Battery is a really good opener. Thing That Should Not Be is another Cthulhu song or Lovecraft song.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all really good.
Okay.
There's I would just be praising it more if I kept going. So,
Okay. So an S.
yeah, S tier. I have these kind of lying here in order, so
Okay.
I was only going to tier the studio albums,
Okay.
but they also have this EP. This one is specifically the 998 CD.
Okay.
Garage Days Revisited.
Okay. It's her early Metallica.
It's not very produced by Metallica.
Okay.
It's them kind of it's them doing covers
Okay.
and sort of going back to their roots with when they played in a garage.
Right. So is this something they did new, or is this something older material they had sitting around?
This is something they did after.
Okay.
This would be when they got. I think that's when they got Newstead.
Okay. So the wait. Okay.
It's a solid EP.
Okay.
I actually also have it in cassette form.
Right.
So we have Injustice for All, which is their first studio album with Newstead.
Mm-hmm.
Infamously, Newstead's bass was like turned all the way down during production, but the story is that his bass was conflicting too much with James's guitar playing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Newstead's bass style is playing it like a rhythm guitar. So that kind of clashed on the album. Newstead in later years made amends over that. Anyway, this is also an S tier. It's my other favorite Metallica album.
Okay. Some song I've heard people would go, that.
Yeah. One is one of my favorite songs.
Right. Okay.
Because of how they handle the subject matter of war.
Okay.
Master of Puppets is also from Master of Puppets is the best anti-drug song ever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, one and it's also is one of my favorite solos from Hammett.
Okay.
Anyway, this is kind of a slower album in general. This is also when they started to have really long songs.
Okay.
And Justice for All is almost 10 minutes. To Live Is to Die, which was a tribute to Cliff, is also almost 10 minutes. Other songs I like off of here are Eye of the Beholder, Blackened, which is a name they've used repeatedly.
On the whiskey too. Yes.
Yeah, and their own label. And I also like To Live Is to Die and Sword of Straw and Harvester of Sorrow. So
Okay.
I almost listed the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is if Metallica continued in the direction of this, they might have gotten into prog metal or progressive metal, which is known for long tracks.
Okay, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm guessing it.
now that's sort of Injustice for All is kind of the end of the end of that sort of evolution of their sound. So the official story is that the songs were too long to play live. So when they got to the Black Album, they deliberately wrote shorter songs. So that the audience would be engaged longer, or would be more engaged. This is an A.
Okay.
And my first album. Enter Sandman is the title, is the first track, and is their best known.
Was that released as a single, or is it just everybody knows it for radio play?
I think everyone knows it from radio play.
Okay.
This is actually when Metallica started going for a more radio-friendly sound, though to me that wasn't in a bad way.
Right. No. Yeah.
Holier Than Thou, Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam, Through the Never, Nothing Else Matters, or
Yeah.
all really good songs. Like
I recognize them.
yeah. Those stand out the most for me. But this is this is probably the best of the this and Justice for All are the best Newstead lineup albums. So then we get to Load and Reload.
Okay.
For it's a double album released separately. As albums, they're not that bad. I used to really not like them, but over time I realized they had merit.
Mm-hmm.
However, there aren't as many memorable songs, even if they do still play material off of here. So collectively, this will probably be a C.
Okay.
But it's not like a bad C.
The high C.
The highest it could go is probably like C plus.
Okay.
But Fuel, Unforgiven 2, see, King Nothing, and maybe a couple others are probably the best ones.
Okay.
This is them really experimenting with their sound, and they're understandably divisive.
Okay.
But so I can completely understand someone saying they're good albums but not good Metallica albums.
Okay.
It's kind of how I feel as well, but again, I kind of lightened up on them over the years.
Okay.
So not tiering these, but after that they also did Garage Inc., which was another going back to stuff.
The covers or just
It was covers and new material. It's also kind of a collection of stuff that they had released before, and so they're bringing it together.
okay.
And the original S&M was the SIT, which is when their first collaboration with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra.
Right. Okay.
I remember liking it when I heard it. I have the DVD. I haven't watched it, but yet.
Right.
I just haven't gotten around to it. But I've listened to the album and I thought it was fine.
Okay. So it's them with an orchestra, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
That time it was actually the orchestra's idea.
Okay.
And then S&M2 was Metallica's idea. Because they were like, that was cool. We should do it again.
All right.
So the next one to tier would be Saint Anger. It's a similar story with Load and Reload. I also used to kind of not like it, but after I saw Some Kind of Monster, I gained a new appreciation for it. I would still probably put this as a C tier.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not I'm not saying it's like the worst thing ever recorded.
No, you're not.
But C tier, and it has some good stuff like I really need to listen to the album again, but Some Kind of Monster and All Within My Hands I thought were good tracks.
Okay.
The main issue is the production, not the behind the scenes stuff. More specifically, like Lars's snare is way too loud.
Okay.
He's actually made fun of that.
All
It's
right.
like how to record. Here's how do Saint Anger. Just turn the snare way up. Alright, so then the next one is Death Magnetic, which was, I think at the time, that was hyped as like their first album in 10 years. And this is when this is their first studio album with Trujillo.
So was there 10 years between these?
Maybe not 10 years, but really long time
Okay.
between albums. I could be exaggerating.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm just
was trying to look for a year on this. 2008, so it must have been 8 years or something.
okay. Wow.
Anyway, this was a return to form for their sound. They were trying to recapture their classic.
Okay.
And I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
The one problem that came during, again, similar issue with Saint Anger, during production, it got brickwalled because of that loudness war thing that's still going on for whatever reason.
Okay.
So let's have the loudest album on the market. And the sound suffers because of it.
Yeah.
And actually, the Guitar Hero mixes of the tracks are better.
Wow.
Hopefully, when they release a CD version of the remaster, it'll also be mastered better.
Right.
But
Beauty of remastering.
yeah. So, but it still has some good material anyway. Despite that, Cyanide is one that they play a lot live still. That was Just Your Life, Broken Beat and Scarred. I also liked All Nightmare Long. Suicide and Redemption also returns to them doing an instrumental on a album.
Mm-hmm.
And then My Apocalypse I thought was a good closer.
Is it Rick Rubin as the producer?
Yeah.
No.
Who is also known for producing Slayer.
Right. Yeah. He's known for doing a lot of people.
I will say I did, since this was my first new album, I did like pretty much every track.
Okay.
So I could have also said Judas Kiss. But anyway, I give this a B, bordering A. The B is mostly because, again, I got brickwalled.
Okay.
So I think that's understandable. Now, not the one that's also not tiered, Beyond Magnetic, is sort of Death Magnetic Part 2.
Okay.
So I would recommend also listening to this.
Why is it not tiered?
Because it's an EP.
Okay. In case someone's listening. Yeah.
It's an EP that's material that got cut from Death Magnetic, so they released it here, and it's a really good companion.
Okay.
Yet another one that isn't tiered is the Through the Never soundtrack.
Which is a live album, basically.
Yeah, music from the movie.
Right.
You can see it's like, if you're watching,
yeah.
solid red. I actually like that effect. So if you like Through the Never, if you liked the movie, you'll like this. Even if you haven't seen the movie, I think you'll like this.
All right. That was a good concert, as I recall.
Yeah, and it has a good amount of material from their entire career.
Right.
Condensed into a nice package.
Okay.
So then the next tiered album is Hardwired to Self-Destruct. This is the 3-disc version that I got. Since this was the tour that we saw,
Yes.
the Worldwide tour shirts. Anyway, everyone who attended also got a copy of the regular 2-disc version.
That was pretty cool.
So we also have 4 additional copies.
Yes.
Just because we went.
Didn't they send those to you, though?
They might have.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they sent those. So anyway, this is a B tier because I personally like this album, but not every track. I realize after a few years, not every track stuck with me.
Okay. This was originally a double album?
This is a double album.
Okay, you have 3 discs.
Yeah, it's a bonus disc. That's extra tracks that were recorded.
Okay.
Like Lords of Summer, which is alright. B tier songs I liked off of here were Hardwired, Atlas Rise, Moth into Flame, Confusion, Here Comes Revenge, and Spit Out the Bone. Spit Out the Bone is the track on here that sounds the most like their old sound.
Okay.
And then we have SNM2. I'm not tiering that, but
It's them again with San Francisco.
orchestra. And I liked that they did more. They actually did more with this than with the first SNM. As Metallica also played orchestral tracks with electric guitar thrown in, and it also has a bass cover of see this. Yeah, it has a cover of Anesthesia by one of the orchestra bassists.
Okay.
It was actually that was particularly impressive. They managed to make it sound like electric.
Okay.
And it was a respectful
rendition.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we have I guess before I get to their last album, I also mentioned when they did the remaster of the Black Album, they also did the Metallica Blacklist.
Oh yeah, right.
Which is covers of Black Album tracks
over and over again.
Yeah, it's a very interesting set. But it's like 4 discs.
Yeah.
And you are going to hear certain tracks like a bajillion times.
It's kind of funny that it's B and it looks like blue.
Yeah. I will admit it's very hit and miss, and even though every interpretation is different, you are still hearing the same tracks over and over and over and over.
Hopefully you like it.
Yeah, I don't remember what they all sound like off the top of my head, obviously, because it's like 4 discs. But I will say one highlight was the Ghost cover of Enter Sandman.
Now, is there anybody on there that is not a metal artist?
Yes, plenty actually.
Okay.
Let's see. This would take a while.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't trying to
go through. Well, one of the Nothing Else Matters covers.
Oh yeah.
Has Miley Cyrus with other artists like Elton John and Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
Yeah. So, this is fine as a package.
Okay.
So it's very hit and miss depending on who's listening to it.
Okay.
So the last thing is their new album, 72 Seasons.
Okay.
I actually own the CD and the
wait for it
cassette.
Okay.
Which is a transparent yellow.
It's more of a novelty than you're actually going to play it, right?
Yeah. I thought it was cool that they did that.
That is cool. Kind of a throwback to how people used to listen to music.
Yeah. So, this album, it's very new, so I don't have like a hard grade on it.
Okay.
So I had heard I was really hyped for the album. I heard the 4 singles a few times. I thought they were really good. Then I heard the first time I heard this was Everything in Context. And I wasn't quite sure about some of the songs because I liked some of them. I obviously liked the singles. There were some tracks that I liked better lyrically than sonically, or the other way around.
Right.
But then I I recently heard the tracks again individually, and it's I like some of them more the second time. So I think it's one of those albums where you have to listen to it more than once, or listen to it once, then listen to the tracks by themselves, and it grows on you.
Right, as we discuss like every Stones album. Now, when they say single,
Yeah.
they didn't put out a 45 or whatever. What does that mean?
Well, they put out. They released it digitally.
Okay.
And yeah, they released the single digitally.
Okay. So
At least, if there was a CD, I probably would have grabbed.
right. Okay.
And they also released music videos for each one.
All right. I'm just they throw on the word single and
Yeah.
it means something way different now than it used to. So I'm just educating.
Interestingly, it's also the first Metallica album where every song also on YouTube also has a ASL version.
Okay.
So people are deaf or hard of hearing can still follow along. So the songs that I already liked were 72 Seasons, Screaming Suicide, Lux Eterna, and If Darkness Had a Sun. I think Lux Eterna and If Darkness Had a Sun are the two best tracks.
Okay.
After listening to certain tracks again, Shadows Follow, Sleepwalk My Life Away. Yeah. Tongue twister.
That's fine.
And Crown of Barbed Wire, and Room of Mirrors also grew on me.
Okay.
So I again think it's too early to assign like a hard rating for it because
It's still new.
yeah, it's still new, so it's a tentative bordering between B and A.
Okay. Now they also, because this is a comic book show,
Yes.
they've actually appeared in comic books as well.
Yes. So
Now, is this something that they
This
instigated,
is
or
one of
something
them.
that they just happened to be the subject of?
I think they happen to be the subject of it. Acme Inc. has comics that are like rock and roll biographies,
Mm-hmm.
and so one of them was Metallica. Comic Con, I got the metal covers,
Okay.
so it's actual metal.
Okay.
Now, this is just the ash can. I haven't. It's the ash can. I haven't read the full comic.
Oh, that's fine.
But my initial impressions, I think they were trying to be a little too clever with inserting song lyrics into the narrative. The art is like okay.
Yeah, it looks kind of okay.
It's a lot of it was stuff I already knew. The one new bit of information that I wasn't aware of was the band XL accused Metallica of ripping off their song "Tapping the Emotional Void" for Enter Sandman, and they from their album "The Joke's on You," and I guess they tried to sue. I don't think it worked. So when I read that, I actually looked into the matter. Like I listened to the XL song,
Okay.
and I could see the similarities, but it's not enough. I didn't think it was enough to be declared like a 1-to-1 like copy or total ripoff.
Okay.
No matter what Dave Mustaine says, because the part in question from the XL song is the first like 45 seconds, and it's a similar pattern, but it's executed differently. And with Metallica, that's the main riff goes off on its own thing.
Right.
If we want to get pedantic, the XL song also has a bit that sounds exactly like YYZ by Rush.
Wow. And
and that sounds a little similar. The song in general has a similar vibe to South of Heaven by Slayer.
So nobody's in the clean.
Although it was a good song.
So let's talk a little bit as we wrap this up. Metallica is branched out into other things. They have a big charity that they support.
Yeah, All Within My Hands, which is their charity. The idea behind it is they can use the power of the fans to give back to the community, which is apparently something they had already been doing while they were on tour, but then with All Within My Hands, they could do it on a bigger scale. So like they donate to food banks. They actually have a scholarship to help give people jobs.
Okay.
I think it seems to be like trade jobs, but those are essential.
Yeah.
So it's good that they're like using their power for good.
And then they've also branched off into whiskey.
Yeah, they're blackened.
Right. So it's more than just, it's like a corporation in some ways. But
and with blackened,
diversify.
Yeah, with blackened, the idea is that it was sonically enhanced with Metallica.
That's right. That's right. Okay. All right. So, anything else you want to mention about Metallica? We're gonna go see them in August.
Yes. I enjoyed them the one time I saw them live. Again, worldwide tour.
Pasadena.
And I'm looking forward to M72.
Okay. Well,
I will also just say there are many shades of Metallica fan, and this is just my own experience.
right. Yes, we're not trying to hype it as, music.
No.
Yeah. All right.
So if you're watching this on YouTube later and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment below if you have your own opinion about Metallica and your personal journey with them, but please be civil.
Right. So next week we'll probably be getting back more to comic books, but until then, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.